Good evening. It is Wednesday night, and it is time to read the Bible again. And tonight we're going to read chapter 13 of Genesis. And I know you can see my little buddy over my shoulder there, and then, they jumped in the buggy with me at Walmart today. So just don't. They're my new little buddies. And yes, that is a baby shark, and if you know, you know. So anyway, tonight we're going to read Genesis chapter 13, and we'll go ahead and get started. I've got a new light, and there we go, trying to kind of get all that set like I want. It helps me see a little bit better. It's titled, Abram and Lot Separate. So Abram went up from Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the Negev. Now Abram was very rich in livestock, in silver and in gold. And he journeyed on from the Negev as far as Bethel to the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai. And you remember we said yesterday that Bethel means house of God, and Ai, which is spelled Ai, means destruction. And I'm not drawing any conclusions between those two things because it's two different things, but it's just, to me, that's interesting. To the place where he had made an altar at the first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. And Lot, who went with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents, so that the land could not support both of them dwelling together, for their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. At that time the Canaanites and the Perizzites were dwelling in the land. Then Abram said to Lot, Let there be no strife between you and me, and between your herdsmen and my herdsmen, for we are kinsmen. Is not the whole land before you? Separate yourself from me. If you take the left hand, then I will go to the right, or if you take the right hand, then I will go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes, and saw that the Jordan Valley was well watered everywhere, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, in the direction of Zoar. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose for himself all the Jordan Valley, and Lot journeyed east. Thus they separated from each other. Now, I've thought about this several times as I've read this story. Lot was Abram's nephew, and Abram was as close as he had to a father because his father was dead. And if Lot, to me now, this is just me thinking out loud, but to me, if Lot really respected Abram, he would have said, you would think he would have said, Abram, you choose and I'll take the other one, because you are my uncle, you are my family, and you are the head of the family. But he didn't do that. He chose the best for himself. So Lot chose for himself all the Jordan Valley, and Lot journeyed east. Thus they separated from each other. Abram settled in the land of Canaan, while Lot settled among the cities of the valley, and moved his tent as far as Sodom. Now the men of Sodom were wicked, great sinners against the Lord. The Lord said to Abram, after Lot had separated from him, Lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are northward and southward and eastward and westward. For all the land that you see I will give to you and to your offspring forever. I will make your offspring as the dust of the earth, so that if one can count the dust of the earth, your offspring also can be counted. And I don't know about you, but of course, now I have 4 dogs, and 2 of them have corgi in them, and so their favorite sport is shedding. And I probably, within the run of a week, I can sweep up enough dog hair off the kitchen and den floor to knit a new dog. Thousands of little hairs, and most of them are not even an inch long. And besides that, the sand that they track in, and just dust that happens in a house, I can sweep up all that, and I can have a little handful in my hand, and there's so much so much in there that I can't even begin to count what's in my hand. And so I can't imagine it being comparable to the dust of all the earth and how many thousands of people that represents. But that's what God was saying. You're going to be like the dust of the earth. There's going to be so many of you that can't be numbered. And that was the Israelites, of course. That's the ones that descended from Abram. I will make your offspring as the dust of the earth, so that if one can count the dust of the earth, your offspring also can be counted. Arise, walk through the length and the breadth of the land, for I will give it to you. So Abram moved his tent and came and settled by the oaks of Mamre, that's Mamre, which are at Hebron, or Hebron, and there he built an altar to the Lord. Now, that place Mamre, that is mentioned a lot of different times in all of this, and it was a place, I guess, that God set Abram and said, "This is you're gonna call this home," so to speak. It was like an anchor or a root for him there. So that is chapter 13. These chapters are not very long. Now I don't have any notes for that other than what I've for chapter 13. But I just look back. Lot was not. Basically, Lot was not. Probably was not. God did not intend for him to go. Either Abram invited him or he just tagged along. And a lot of the problems that were caused, because we're going to see in the next couple of chapters, next several chapters, the things that Abram did. It's not just Sodom and Gomorrah, but it was other things as well. And there's a lot of things that probably would have problems that probably would have avoided if Lot had stayed where he was. But it's just like later on some things happen that where we try to help God and we make a big mess out of it. So I think that's just a human thing that we try to help, and it's a hard lesson to learn not to try to help God. We think we're doing right, but a lot of times we're not. So anyway, that's our chapter for the night. Thank y'all for joining me, and we will see you tomorrow night.